Okay, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about how to read a management report. And then what do we do at a re-enrollment so that we can upsell from where they are? Okay. So we're going to start with reading a management report. The first two documents that you guys got, there's an old style and a new style of a management report. So this is all preference to your AD, usually how they pull it. You have to um, go different places in Epic, and I'll show you guys where those are to pull these. But this management report is the old one, is what I call the old one. Okay. Yes. The good thing about this one is that it's updated um, every Sunday. So if you write a new policy within that management report or open enrollment period, it will show up on this management report a little bit faster than the newer one. However, you do have to know your codes. Okay, which is why we have the code cheat sheet. Okay, so what we're looking at here is what I would consider the old management report. If you ever have to email Amanda, she's going to pull this one. It's easier for her to pull this as opposed to finding it in Epic. I prefer also another one on this one is that it's alphabetical by the person's last name. Okay, which is how we write our deduction spreadsheets. So whenever you're writing your deduction spreadsheet and you can find it by person, it makes it a little bit easier to transfer into a deduction spreadsheet onto Excel or Google Sheets, however you do. If you're in Epic and you pull up the account and you scroll down and you do print right here, that will pull up the newer version, if you will, of that management report. Okay. So whenever you pull this one, it's going to be alphabetical by first name. The other thing I like about this plan or this sheet is that it actually tells you what the policies are, as opposed to on this one, it gives you a code. Okay. Downfall to this one, telling you what the policy is, it will only tell you that it's a cancer endurance plan. It doesn't tell you if it's a single individual, if it's a single parent, if it's a family plan. You still have to look that up in Epic because, especially if you are going to talk to them and it's got a different person insured on it, like a spouse, and that insured person, the spouse is older, that's why it's going to be listed as the insured. Because on a cancer plan, it's always the spouse, the oldest person is listed as the insured person, whoever that is. Okay. So you do have to double check that. This one is alphabetical by first name. Okay. So when you're building your deduction spreadsheet, that can be a little bit more confusing whenever you have to sort it by person's last name. Okay. Again, it's by personal preference. I like this one, especially whenever people are just learning how to do a re-enrollment because they can very easily see what policies there are there. People on Zoom, that's what we're talking about here, is this guy. If I pull it up, you guys can see it a little bit clearer than that one. Um, so it's alphabetical by first name as opposed to alphabetical by last name. Okay. But again, cancer endurance plan, like very first person on this example that I'm giving you, Cheryl. Cheryl's got a cancer endurance plan, but the insured name says Donald. Okay. So we could assume A, that only Donald is covered, or we could assume B, it's a family plan. I'm making an assumption. What do I need to do? I got to go to Epic so I can look at that. Okay. If I'm going to go to Epic and I'm going to look at that plan, I'm going to open it up. You can right click it and open it, and it will tell you your code 5KT. Does anybody know what 5KT stands for? Not Danielle? No. 5KT is the cancer endurance family. The T is the family. Okay. So if you don't know, that's why we have our cheat sheet. And this should be in your enrollment folder somewhere. Okay. Because if you get into a management report and you don't know it, or you look it up in Epic and you don't know what that code means, that's not helpful to you. If you don't know what that 5KT stands for, what's that doing for you? So you should be looking at your plan code cheat sheet. Now, this one is from home office, the one that I printed for you. It's 4 pages long. There's a lot of codes on here, right? It is in alphabetical order and also numerical order. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to see my fives. If I have a 5K, It's going to be a cancer plan, but I need to know what type of cancer plan is it? 5KT is my family, so I can see that here. Anybody recognize these 5KJ, 5KI, 5KH? That says cancer care. What the heck's a cancer care plan? Not Danielle. Anybody want to venture a guess?
Well, 5KT is cancer endurance family, and 5K like cancer care. You don't see cancer care now.
We don't sell that anymore. This is the old cancer endurance plan. Okay. So if somebody shows up on your management report as having a cancer care 5KG, 5KF, they've had that cancer plan longer than we've had cancer endurance. Their payouts are going to be different. So you want to tread softly if they ask you, well, how much am I going to get paid out? Because it's not going to be the $3,500. It's not going to be the $500 for radiation chemotherapy. They have a different payout. Now, you can go into agent services and you can find that information. It is not very easily searchable. Like agent services is terrible search engine. So it's easier to just direct them to customer service or direct them to Amanda A. Like, we're going to place a claim. I don't know what your payouts are going to be. We're going to make sure that that happens. You can direct it to your AD. We can pull that information from our files. It is not very easy to do that. So tread softly. Yeah, Danielle. Plan code cheat sheet. Well, there's a couple different places. You can find it in the shared drive. You can find it in my team drive. You can also find it on agent services. You guys should be able to go into the policy information. Whenever you're looking that up, I can pull it up for you in just a second. It's also got a code down here, the LND 2645. If you type that into the search engine, that actually will pull up a document. You can find it on the e-app on agent resources. There's also one that I've condensed down. I did like the plan code cheat sheet. I just have the very, very basic ones because I don't need all 7,500 codes. You'll start to learn it as you go. Ones are always career life. If it starts with a one, it's a career life plus. Yep, it's like different types of those. 5K and 5G, those are cancers. Okay. 5J is intensive care. Remember on the e-app, you guys, cancer endurance and the intensive care plan are both on the same application. So that's an easy way to remember that. The fives are going to kind of help you with those letters, G, H, I, J, K. 5M is the critical illness. Okay. E's, the E's are always the group term, employee group term. Okay. The only one that stands out to you is E13. E13 is paid up at 65. All the rest of them are group terms to 100. Group dental, group vision. We don't sell a whole lot of that. The H's are the accident plans. And then the L's are the cash cancer. So I've just lumped in. These are like my the basic few. Now, of course, if you get a random one, like, I don't know, I've never seen 101 Auto Club. Never seen that. But remember, this is School of Life. So they've got tons and tons of codes. Okay. So you should have a copy of this somewhere accessible to you. You don't necessarily have to have a paper copy. If you can get on your agent services or you can get on your team drive and you know where to find it in case, God forbid, something weird happens and you got to figure out what that policy is, but at least know where to go. Okay. Or make sure that whenever you're getting ready to enroll at a re-enrollment, because we're only talking about re-enrollments right now. We're not talking about brand new cases because whenever we do that, we don't care about the codes, right? Know what you're walking into. Okay, so you need to know, what does everybody have? I need to be able to read my management report. Okay, so we're looking at the old guy here with our codes. Okay, so let's look at Cheryl McKay. She's the first one at the top of this page, and she has 3 different policies. So we have an AL6. Raise your hand if you know what AL6 stands for. Somebody take a guess. You don't even have to look at the cheat sheet. I bet you can guess it. ALX, yes, ALX. And ALX is what? Anybody remember what ALX is supposed to be? Modified life. So it's a whole life program, right? Okay, what's the bad part about this policy? When I'm looking at my management report, it doesn't tell me a face value. This management report does not tell me how much coverage she has. I know, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. This one will usually tell you like how much they've paid in so far, right? So when you look at Cheryl McKay on the new management report, whenever I check it over there, Let me look at that. It'll tell you how much she's paid into it, $848. Okay, so if she were to die today, that's how much would pay to her family. Remember, ALX, the first 3 years of that policy life is only premiums plus 10%. Okay, so this makes it very difficult to talk to people about what policy they have. You have to go back in to the application and look at how much coverage she asked for. Yes, sir, Reggie. If she, this is what it would pay if she died right now.
But that also depends on if it's natural or accidental.
Yes, that's true.
Well, yeah.
So I think
If it
that's
was-
really what they've paid in.
Yeah, that's really what they've paid into it. So, I mean, like, I'm not in underwriting, so it would depend on how she died. But you can see their active date. It was started in August of 2024. So she has not had this plan very long. Yeah, I think they're calculating the whole year, right? And then the next year it will bump over again and it would bump over again. But ALX is very difficult to look at. How do I upsell those people? Okay, so we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but how do I read it and I tell them what they've got? If I'm in Cheryl McKay, like, let's go back, we'll talk about Miss Cheryl, and I'm looking at her plan. Two ways I can figure this out. It's telling me how much it's valued here. It's also telling me her monthly premium. So if you could click on her application, which I cannot do, they've taken a lot of that permissions away. You could look at the old application and say she applied for, generally it's 10,000, right? And then they get it reduced down. It's usually around 5 or 6 or 7,000. Okay. I can't see that application. So what I have to do is I have to put her information into the e-app and I have to guesstimate on what amount comes out whenever I put in her monthly premium. Okay, as if I was going to write a brand new policy. We know she's paying $69.42. If I look at the management report, I can tell that she's paying $32 biweekly. So whenever I put it into the e-app, it's going to spit that back out to me like, oh, here is the value of her policy. Okay, ALX is very difficult. So you want to make sure you do your homework before you go to a re-enrollment. You do not want to walk in blind and be like, all right, Cheryl, it looks like you've got, oh shit, I don't know what you got. Well, these are weird things. Like, God, what did you sign up for? You don't want to do that, right? You want to be ready to go. You know what you're selling, okay? Because you want to walk in confidently. I will tell you, I never, ever, ever will say you have a modified life to somebody. I don't want to make them feel bad about it. I'm going to tell them they have a whole life plan. This is the best coverage. You're going to be paid up in 20 years. You've got a whole life plan. It's gaining a cash value. You're covered in no matter what happens with your life. Like, that was really, really great. You're so smart to set that up for yourself. Have you had some health problems in the past? You can ask them that. Have you had some health problems? Oh, yeah, I had cancer 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, you look fantastic. Congratulations. You've beat it. Like, you're doing great. Like, this was really, really smart that you set this up for yourself. Okay. So you're going to compliment them. Whatever it is, you're going to explain to them what they have, and then you're going to compliment them. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've got another plan from Miss Cheryl, and it's with the insured of Donald McKay, and it's LS3. Anybody? Over on the right-hand side of that old management report, it says face amount is 10,000. So what kind of policy is LS3 for Donald McKay for $10,000? It's not a term policy. Look at your code cheat sheet. Cash cancer family. Good job. So the 3 got you the family, right? It could have also triggered because you saw Donald, right? If you see an insured name that's not the employee, you need to double check. Am I only insuring the spouse or am I insuring the family? Okay, LS3 is the family plan. So that means that they have $10,000 of cash cancer. Okay. And then if I look at the next one, we already talked about this. 5KT is our cancer endurance plan. We already looked that up. It is the family cancer endurance plan. So when I talk to Cheryl, I'm going to be like, okay, Cheryl, thanks for coming in and talk to me. We're going to do a couple things for you today. First, we're going to renew your no-cost benefits that you're entitled to through Amy Schultz Center. Remember, that's at $3,000 now, discount card, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Then we're going to review the policies that you currently have, and then I'm going to go through some updates for you, okay? So I explain their no cost. I get her back on the computer. When I'm doing a re-enrollment, I always pull her up in Epic so I can confirm their information. Why do I do that? Instead of just ask them again. Building trust. Has anybody been in a situation where they're like, you should already have that in your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Danielle.
You also have benefit though, because you have access to all the people you've written your account.
So when you go to a re-enrollment, you should be able to see every person if you look up the person. You might not be able to see the account, but you should be able to look up Cheryl McKay right now. Type her name in. You should be able to see her information in Epic. If you can pull up their name, then you should be able to see them. If not, guys, again, this is a prep thing. When you know on Monday, I'm going to a re-enrollment on Thursday, do I have everything I need? Do I have my management report? Do I have a cheat sheet for what my codes are? Do I know what these policies are being sold as? Can I see it in Epic? And if not, you get with your AD or you get with Amanda so they can share that account with you so you can see it. Because you don't want to get there and be like, I can't see anything. Because that does happen every once in a while. Like we forget, or God forbid, you get there and you're outside of enrollment period. Woof. And you're like, ah, crap. Now I can't do anything because I didn't prep in time. That's something I try to do with my team on Fridays. Because if we need a change of enrollment, I need time to do that so I can process it so it can get set up. Does it make sense? So it's that prep work in advance. Can you see her? Yeah. You can't see the account unless it's shared with you, but you should be able to look up any person's name in Epic. Now, if you look up a person's name and you can't see it, it's because it's owned by Springfield or another agency. So, but I can see everything that you guys write if I know their name. I should be able to pull up their information. Okay. So when I pull them up, I'm going to highly recommend that you guys do that, because when you pull them up and you're talking to Cheryl, like, okay, Danielle was there last year and everybody loved Danielle. And now they're really like, Diana's kind of sketchy. She's a little bit scary. I don't know if I like her, but I know, right? But if I can pull up her information, I'm like, hey, do you still live at 855 North Ireland Lane? She's like, yeah. Okay. She knows who I am. She's legit. I believe her. I trust her, right? Because they're spitting their information out. Side note, that literally just happened to me yesterday. My bank account got scammed. So yay for that. So, but we're good people, not like the losers that try to hack into my account. It's fine. Figured it out before I give them any money. So that's good. But it was a little stressful day yesterday. It's fine. But you want to build the trust. Yeah. They need to be able to say all the things. Like you need to tell them, okay, is this still your phone number? No, let me update that for you. Is this still your address? Is this still your email? If you're asking them again, if Danielle gathered the information last year, now I'm like, okay, and so what's your address? What's your phone number? And they're like already thinking I'm sketchy. I've lost their trust. If I can pull it up in Epic, okay, I see that your beneficiary is Donald. Is that still good? You still like him today, or are we mad at him today? I usually make a joke, right? They're like, oh yeah, Donald is my beneficiary. Or they're like, I don't remember who I put my beneficiary as last year. Well, I can look that up for you. Let me find you in Epic. Okay. All right, so let's say she has ALX, she has cancer endurance, and she has cash cancer for 10,000. Let's say that the reason that she has ALX is because she had a heart attack. Obviously, it's not because she had cancer, else she wouldn't have a cancer plan, right? So she had a heart attack. I don't know. I don't know about Cheryl. Maybe she had something else. Who the hell knows? But I'm going in, I'm talking to her. What can I upsell her on? I can sell more cash cancer. What else can I do? More life on modified, right? If she already has ALX, I have to sell more ALX. I could do Career Life Plus on kids and grandkids. What about her husband? Does he have any life insurance? I don't know. Let's find out, right? So when I'm in the middle of talking to her about her benefits, I'm going to renew her no cost benefits. I'm going to get her information updated, and then I'm going to go through the benefits that she currently has. Okay. The next step is to complement what they already have. All right. Whatever it is, you're going to compliment them like, oh my gosh, Cheryl, you were so smart to get this life insurance set up for yourself. You did a really good job of getting that life insurance set up. It's a whole life plan. It's going to last until you turn 121. It's building a cash value. It's going to be paid up in 20 years. Like really, really, really smart of you to do that. Now, I see that you have about 7,000 in coverage. That's a good start. Okay. That's a good amount for a cremation or a really small service. Wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe look at increasing that a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to write that down for you. That's how I do it. Compliment, make a suggestion, then tell them I'm going to write it down. Okay, I don't ask them, can I write it down for you? I don't ask, would you like to look at increasing that? I don't ask any of those questions. I tell them that they did a good job. I tell them that it wouldn't be a bad idea to increase it. And then I tell them that I'm going to write it down. Okay. I'm telling them what we're doing. Then the next thing, oh my gosh, you set up that cancer plan. You did such a good job. You also set up the cash cancer. So if you or Donald get diagnosed with cancer, it's going to pay $13,500. It's going to pay amongst all your treatments and procedures. So smart that you guys did that. I know cancer treatments have gone out the window with how much it costs. Really smart that you set that up for yourself. Now, you guys locked that in last year. It wouldn't be a bad idea to look at increasing that cash cancer lump sum, okay? I'm gonna bring that up for you. I'm gonna write that down for you, okay? Do you have any questions on how that works? Nope. Okay, really smart, right? You know what? I was just thinking, do you have life insurance for Donald? Oh yeah, he's got some through his work. Okay, great. Really good. Now, did you talk to him? Because I think we talked about this last time. Did you talk to him about what happens when he gets ready to retire from his job? Does he get to keep that policy or does it terminate? Oh, you know what? I forgot to talk to him about that. Okay, well, I definitely think that we should talk about this because this for sure could be beneficial to you guys. You at least want to make sure you have enough there for funeral and final expenses because that's the first thing that's going to come to you, right? You're going to have to pay for that funeral. So we want to make sure you have the coverage. Oh, Cheryl, remember we were talking to like rapport. We were talking about your grandkids. Like, have you guys talked about doing the Gerber grow up plan for your grandkids? Like, that's a really good thing. Most grandparents really love that we can do that through the workplace. Let me explain that to you. Okay, I'm going to just be very assertive and tell them what we're going to do. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, let's go to the second person on our list. We've got Taylor Parker, and she's got all the things. All the things. Okay, she's got two boxes because she's Taylor Parker and she's Taylor N. Parker. See how that works out? How did that happen? Not Danielle. How did that happen?
One put it in, it's just Taylor Parker.
You're exactly right. Somebody went to re-enroll and they were like, I'm going to add a middle initial. Or if I look at effective dates of these policies, it looks like the Taylor N. Parker was the first one. Nope, it wasn't. It was Taylor Parker was regular because that's 2019. And then somebody added a middle initial and the other people didn't. Can that be fixed? Anybody know? Yes. How do I fix that? Great. My team's like, I have to get the driver's license. And that is true if they have it misspelled. However, on these, it's really simple. This is the simplest change that they'll make for you. You can actually just email home office and say, these people are the same. Look at the birth dates. Please combine them to one pair. We can actually do that with just an email. We don't have to do the driver's license. Thank God. But if they're misspelled, as if they have different names or somebody has a maiden name, this person has a married name, then you have to have the driver's license. Okay. If it's just a middle initial, you don't. But I love that you guys answered that way because then we taught the right thing. Love it. Get the driver's license. Always get the driver's license, right? Hey, do you have your driver's license on you? Can I just snap a picture of that? Okay. No, I don't have it. Okay, no problem. Can you text it to me later? I want to make sure that everything is lined up perfectly fine for you because I don't want any trouble if we have to place a claim. Okay. And I want to make sure that it matches. That happens too if you have the wrong birth date on something. They have the wrong birth date. If it's a person that has a driver's license, we can do it with a driver's license. If it's a person that is not like a baby, you have to get their birth certificate, which is super annoying. People get real mad. So that's why we double check things before we send them down. Yeah. All right. So let's look at Taylor. You might want to take some notes here. We have E13 for 20,000. What does she have there? Group term paid up at 65 for 20,000. Is that all the life insurance that she has? No. She has one, two, three, four other plans. So what do we do whenever we're talking about her life insurance? This is something I would do in advance. I'm going to add them up. I'm not going to say, oh, you have five different life insurance policies because that's very confusing to people, right? They're like, wait, why do I have that? No. We're going to add it up together at the beginning. Okay. So if I'm doing my prep work, I'm going to add it up. So she has 20,000 plus 40,000 plus a 5 plus a 10 plus a 2,500 with an accidental death benefit of 15. So how much life insurance total does she have? Yes, 77,500 with an accidental death benefit of 15,000. Okay. So when I talk to her, I'm going to tell her the total amount of life insurance that she has. Okay. So you have done a really good job, Taylor. You have set up yourself very, very well. You're going to protect your family. I think, if I remember correctly, she has a daughter. So this is going to go to your daughter. It's going to help protect you. You've got all this coverage. It's going to pay all your bills, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Now, I'm still going to say it looks like you have increased your benefit every single year. So I'm going to write down what that looks like for you to increase your benefit again this year. Okay. It looks like you've made a little baby increase every single year. This last year, you made a 2,500 and you added an accidental death benefit. It's not a bad idea to keep doing that. Okay. Because you're doing baby steps. It's easier to move. What's the worst thing that she can say to me if I do that? No, no, thank you. I'm comfortable where I'm at. But if I didn't offer it to her, is she going to say yes? Hey, can you tell me what it looks like to increase my life insurance? The majority of the time, they're not going to ask you to increase their life insurance. You're going to have to bring it up. You're going to compliment them. You're going to say this wouldn't be a bad idea, and then you're going to pitch it. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next thing. What's 5JP? Intensive care protector. You got it. Good job. So she's got the intensive care protector. I might not be able to tell how many units it is, right? Not on this sheet. Might have to look at how much the deduction is to make a guess. Or I can look at this other one. It's not even on this sheet that I gave you. Sorry, guys. But it'll tell you, okay? It's probably the 2 units, so $1,000 a day, right? What about 5MY? It looks like she has 3 5MY policies. 1, 2, 3 5MYs. What is that? On my cheat sheet.
I'm sure that's what the cheat sheet is, but
It's not on our cheat sheet?
No, five MD is on the sheet, five MY is not.
Ooh, all right. Well, it's the same. Yeah, if it's the 2 first digits are the same, it's going to be the same. So 5M is going to be critical illness. Man, home office needs to update their thing.
That's
Lame. I don't know. I just use my cheat sheet because I have like the baby guys and I'm like, oh, 5M, critical illness, right? It goes in the same family. I like it. Okay. But I don't know how much coverage she has, right? Because it doesn't tell me on that guy. Where does it tell me though? On this one, it tells me. That's why I like this one a little bit more. I know. Nothing can be easy. Why do you think it's going to be easy? Yes. Exactly. What do you want to look at? Do you want to look at the codes and be in alphabetical order by last name? Do you want to look at alphabetical order first name? You got to look it up whenever it says cancer endurance. I mean, there's all like things. So just preparing for yourself. Okay. On this new management report, it does tell you though, critical illness, she's got 15,000. She's got another 10,000 and she's got a 25,000. So can I sell her more critical illness? What, Anthony? No. How come? She's already at 50,000. And what's the limit? It's 50,000. So what happens if I try to write her a critical illness plan because I didn't do my math right? Amanda's going to decline it. Or you'll get a commission charge back because you got it sent down and then they're like, you've exceeded your limit. Okay. So make sure you've checked that. So you're going to, again, compliment her. You're going to be like, wow, you did a really good job. You maxed out your benefit last year with critical illness. If you have a heart attack or stroke, you are definitely covered. Good job. Okay. Then we move on. What else does she have? If I'm looking at the sheet and I see 5MY E13, I have LS2. LS2. And she has 1, 2, 3 of those. Cash cancer individual. Yep. So she's covering herself. And then I can look at my benefit amount over here. It does tell me on that one, I have 10,000 plus 10,000 plus 10,000. So she has a total of 30,000. Can I sell more cash cancer? I can. Can I sell 10,000 more? Yes. Can I sell 20,000 more? I can, but what happens if I do?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, so if you guys can't hear on Zoom, if we sell a maximum of lump sum cancer 50,000 and they get diagnosed with cancer, they are going to get 50,000, not 53,500. Remember the first payout on our cancer endurance plan is 3,500. The maximum payout you can get is 50,000. So those people have to make a choice. Do I want 43,500 or do I want 50,000? Because it will not pay 53.5. Does that make sense? You will forfeit your 3,500 from the cancer endurance plan to get the 50,000 cash cancer. Okay? You can sell it, but they are forfeiting that. So you need to make sure that people understand that. You're forfeiting that 3,500. Now, people that have a bunch of cancer in their family and they want that lump sum up front, they might be willing to do that, especially depending on how much they're paying for their lump sum cancer. If they're only paying, well, she's paying $3, whatever, $2.66, she might be like, sure, I'm going to forfeit that. Like, I'm cool with that. I'd rather have the 10,000 instead of the 3,000. But she is forfeiting that. Okay. Last one. I'm sorry, there's two more. HB5. HB5. They what?
Yeah, I'm not.
Not. Oh, because it's only well, take a guess if you were looking at the cheat sheet guide, because we're not looking at Diana's. HB5 is here's Diana's because I have a little cheat sheet on mine. What is it? Accident Protector Max, right? Individual plan. Okay. So she's got the individual Accident Protector Max. And then the last one is 5KS. You got it. Cancer endurance individual. Okay. So again, this is why I keep this like little cheat sheet guide in mind because it's like much more condensed. You can kind of find the families they're stuck together, 5Ms or critical illness, 5Ks or cancer. I'll send this to you guys. You're more than welcome to like it's not been updated. So if they add like a weird funky number or something, whatever. I don't have the 5MY either, but I'm sure you can guess 5M, right? If you prefer or if you like the other kind of management report, you guys, you can ask for this to be printed too. If they're giving you this one, the old one, quote, quote, right? And you want the new one, they can pull that for you. Okay. Your AD can pull that for you, or you can print it for yourself. When you do that, you're going to your account and you're just choosing this print button right above where the policies are listed on the information sheet in Epic. Okay, that's super easy. That's where I always print mine because I can do it myself. If you go through the reports, so I just had to ask Amanda because I'm like, it's been a minute since I pulled the reports like that. You got to go to your field reports. You got to go to your today's reports, search reports. You got to go down here and you got to do your document type, blah, blah, blah. And then you got to find report dates. And sometimes you got to know who it belongs to. Especially if you have a hierarchy and it's not your case, this is very difficult to find, right? If I'm using like Tony's case, it's going to be very difficult for me to find. If I'm servicing a house account, I'm not going to have access to that. Amanda will. So then I have to go in and I have to find, okay, is it Diana 92 or is it Diana 98? I don't know. Why do I have two numbers? Seems valid, right? Oh, yeah, it's Diana 92. So I got to go in here, change her up, and then I can find Amy Schultz. And then that's going to print the old guy. More steps, in my opinion. It's whatever you're more comfortable with. It tells you the same information. I highly recommend looking every single person up individually in Epic so you can pull up their information and confirm their information. And then I want to talk about how do we upsell those people. Okay. So first we compliment. Sorry. First we explain, then we compliment. Then we just say, it wouldn't be a bad idea to blah, 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 insert here, whatever you want to do. I'm going to write that down for you. Well, how much does that cost? I'm going to write that down for you. I'm in control. I'm not stopping what I'm doing to talk to them about how much it costs. I'm not giving them a quote. I'm going to write that down for you. We're going to talk about all the things I'm going to write it down while we're building rapport about our grandkids or whatever else it is. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to be like, okay, now remember, Taylor, we talked about increasing your life insurance. We also talked about increasing your critical illness or your cash cancer, because we already did critical illness. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to add some Career Life Plus for your daughter. Okay. So blah, blah, blah. You can do one, you can do these two, you can do whatever combination works best for you. The key thing is if you can, you want to lock in your age. So we're never younger or healthier than we are today. And then we'll be back next year. We can add some other things next year. So which of those works best for you? And then you shut your face. First person to talk loses. Let them sit there. Take a drink of water, check your phone, type something on your computer. They're the first person that talks. Okay. So I explain it. I tell them that they can choose this. You can choose one. You can choose two. You can choose 1, 2, 3, 1 and 3, whatever combination works best for you. Did I say you can choose nothing? No. Did I say you can choose this or nothing? No. I didn't leave one option on the table. I left multiple options on the table. So they're going to choose this or this, right? And then I said, key thing is you want to lock in your age. You already did that. You were really, really smart. You already did that. Now we're just going to increase it. And of course, you can add more next year too. So I'm leaving the window open. Which of those works best for you? And then I disengage. Disengage. I get a drink of water. Like whenever Julia enrolls, she always takes a drink of water. You could always tell, doesn't she, Reggie? Every single time. It's a cue. She will take a drink of water. I turn to my computer and I start typing something in. Okay. So you disengage and you let them sit, and they can sit there for 5 minutes. I don't care, but they're going to choose something. Or they're going to tell me no. But if they have already said, like, oh, I only want the free stuff, I don't care. I'm still going through the whole spiel. Still telling them what they have, still pitching, still doing it all. They're going to tell me again that they don't want anything. And I'm not rude. I'm just going to make them say it to me again. How many times have you guys been like, when Brian and I got married, we went to like a wedding show or whatever, and they're like, you can come and you get a free vacation if you come see the pitch for the stupid cookware or whatever, like the vacation spots. You can get a free 3-day vacation, but you got to listen through the spiel, right? How many times do they make you say no in those things? Like 1,000 times. You got to say no 1,000 times. And I'm really bad at it. So I've gotten much better. but now, like, that's what you're doing. Make it uncomfortable. It should be a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. They have to tell you no. I really need to take that home and talk to my wife. I really need to speak with my husband. Can I take this home? Absolutely, you can. Let me put that in a folder for you. I'm going to follow up with you on Monday or whatever your system does. Like, if I don't usually follow up with people because I'm too busy. I'm like, okay, well, if you want it, you're going to have to reach out to me because I can't remember. Okay. But if I'm being very, very clear about what I'm doing, then they're going to usually choose something. 90% of the time, they're going to choose at least one of those things. Okay. Cash cancer is the easiest upsell ever for me anyway. They've got cancer endurance plan, and then you go through and you're talking about how it's such a great cancer plan. Like, you're so smart to have put that together. You've got this protection for your family. You're going to get paid out. Let me show you how it works. 3,500, da 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 da, right? Now, let me give you this update though, because this last year they did an update. Or if they've been there a couple of times and you talked about it. Now, we've had some people really talk about how that $3,500 just isn't enough, right? So this is a great plan, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to look at adding a lump sum benefit, because the high deductible on your health insurance, you have a big copay. You might want time off of work. You need to help them picture what's going to happen. So you're going to talk to them about, like, you were really smart to get this. It wouldn't be a bad idea to add on a lump sum here. And it's only going to cost you like $2 or $3. Let's look at what that looks like. Okay. So it's going to help with that immediate out-of-pocket cost. It's going to help with time off of work. It's going to help with, your max out of pocket on your health insurance. Okay. So that's a very easy upsell. And then I show them 10, 20, 30. Okay. Well, you can go up to 50, but most people start someplace in here. And remember, we can always add more next year. Okay. Critical illness, if they have a $10,000 or a $15,000 policy, again, you're going to compliment them. Like, really good job. You set this up for yourself. Now, do you have a lot of heart things in your family? Is that why you set that up? Well, my dad had a heart attack and I think my grandpa did too. Okay, well, it was really smart that you set that up. Now, 15,000 is a great amount of money, but it's not going to be that much different for you to make it a $25,000 benefit. Let me write that down for you. Okay. So I complimented them, then just said, it's no big deal. Let me just write that down. They can still tell me no, but I'm still making them tell me no. Okay. Life insurance. Whenever you got life insurance, if they've already bought, because we're talking about re-enrollments, right? They've already bought life insurance. So you're going to compliment them. You did a really good job. Okay. Let's say they already have 50,000 in life insurance. Okay. Which is a good amount of money. Okay, you know what? You did a really good job of setting this up for yourself. You have a lot of coverage. It's definitely going to cover your funeral, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to add an accidental death benefit. Okay, now what usually people will do with that is like cover a home or cover a college education. Maybe you have some loan debt. You've got to pay off a car loan, whatever. And it's very, very inexpensive to add an accidental death benefit. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay. The most important thing whenever you're enrolling is to make them picture it. Why do they need it? It does not matter how cheap it is, because if they don't need it, they won't pay the $2. But on the flip side, it doesn't matter how expensive it is if they know that they need it. If they know that they need it and you've convinced them why they need it, then it doesn't matter how much it's going to cost. They will make it happen in their budget. Does that make sense? So the way that we build on re-enrollments is you have to have the like and trust. We do that through our rapport, through pulling up their information in Epic by asking them what their information is, especially if you're doing any virtually enrolling. I tell my team whenever they're doing phone calls, every rapport counts. Pulling that stuff up in Epic, knowing, you know what? I know Anthony spoke with you last year. He got you all set up with your benefits. That's really, really great. You want to build off of that, okay? Because if you can build the trust, then they know, okay, this person's legit, or at least hopefully they're legit, right? So then, I can see all of these things. I can see that your husband, Donald, is your beneficiary. I can see that you've worked at Amy Schultz Center for 3 years. I can see that you set this policy up to protect your kids, whatever the case might be, okay? Then you compliment them because everybody likes to be told that they did the right thing. People want to be told that they were smart to set that up for their family. And then you make slight suggestions on how you can make something else happen for them. Does that make sense? What questions do you guys have about reading a management report and how to upsell from the management report, or where we can have opportunity? Yes, Reggie.
I have a question. Ran into this yesterday, so the deduction amount on this sheet should be what's being deducted from their paycheck every.
Correct.
That's what I want to talk to you about. That's all.
Okay. So he asked, for anybody that's on Zoom that couldn't hear, he asked if the management report is showing a dollar amount for a deduction, is that what should be coming out of their paycheck? And yes, that is correct. That's what should be coming out of their paycheck. So if we have sent the deduction spreadsheet and it said you're supposed to deduct $4 from their paycheck, but they're showing something different off of their paycheck, there is a disconnect there. So is it wrong on the deduction spreadsheet that we sent? Or is it wrong that the payroll person took it out incorrectly? Right? There's two errors that could be happening. So we have to go back and look, does the management report match the deduction spreadsheet? There's always human error. Unfortunately, we don't have a system in Epic that can create the deduction spreadsheet for us. That would be fantastic if it did. So when we're looking at the end of the month and we're doing those, like I make mistakes every once in a while too. It happens. Like if the number is wrong or we flip the number or we missed a decimal point or something, that can really mess up whenever we're trying to pay the invoice. Okay. So if I said it's supposed to deduct $4, but then the payroll person typed in $4.25, they're pulling out too much from their paycheck. That person's mad because they didn't sign for $4.25. They signed for $4. And then the money doesn't match for the invoice whenever they write the check. Now, sometimes it can happen like Reggie, I know with the case you're talking about, they switched from semi-monthly to bi-weekly. And if you do that in the middle of the cycle, they signed for a different amount than what was on the deduction spreadsheet. So we have to triple check, did we get the right numbers from the management report to the deduction spreadsheet? If that's correct, then the mistake happened at the payroll level. And the company has to fix that. when they outsource their payroll, that makes it a little bit more difficult because there's more human error, more humans involved, more errors involved, right? So you have to double check all that. So we'll find out where the mistake is. What about you guys on Zoom? Any questions on how to read a management report, how to upsell, um, where to find this information? Cool. All right. So, yes, sir. No, you're good.
To what Reggie was saying.
Yeah.
I was wondering, does that knowledge, is it known pretty quickly, or do we have to like we'll know if there's a wrong payment?
Yeah, usually they'll call and say, my money doesn't match, or like this is the client who calls like literally every month
Okay.
because the payroll is never right. So she's mad about our money not being there, which is fair, right? People work hard for their money. They want to have the money in their pocket. So sometimes it's hard to figure out whose error it is. So we have to go back to the beginning. Go back. This first step is look at your management report. Does that match the deductions? If the deductions that were sent match, then the disconnect is at the payroll part. They can usually show, like, she'll pull up a paycheck stub and show us that her amount is wrong. It could be at the end of the next month, whenever they say, okay, we don't have enough money, something happened, we missed a deduction, or crap, we have too much money because that policy didn't make it onto the invoice. So if you guys are an agent or an SA or a GA and you don't know, like, there's a mistake and you're like, I don't know how to do that. It's very, very common. ADs deal with it all the time. Go to your AD. Don't just hand it to your AD though. Learn from it so that when it happens the next time and you're the AD, you'll know how to fix it. Because that's the only reason that I know how to do it is because my AD was like, no, you're not walking away. We're going to fix it together. Let's figure out what's wrong. Because if you just pass it, you never learned how to fix it. Like, I'll fix it. We're busy. I get it. But let me show you how to do it so that you can solve the problem yourself. Okay. We've got a couple minutes. We've got the SAGA bullpen. I'm sorry. We have the SA bullpen with Derek, and then we have the GAAD bullpen is with Tony. So Bailey and Ryder, you guys will be with Tony. I don't know if he's going to get on Zoom on his link or what. So if you guys just want to hang out a second, that'd be great. And then Jesse, I think you're the only one potentially in that group. So do you want me to have Derek hop on Zoom, or do you want me to have him call you?
Zoom will work.
Okay, so just hang tight then too. And then Matt, you can get off of Zoom. Just shout out to Ryder or Bailey to find out what your job description is for this afternoon. Okie dokies, artichokes. All right, cool. So you guys are just hanging out here and I'm gonna figure out what's going on.